Hi, it's Kit. I am doing the portfolio review thingy. Um, so I want to start with preliminary notes because I recorded this the other day and I realized that I was all over the place. So I'm going to try this. Preliminary notes. Number one, fan art is not allowed in portfolios. If you're a fan artist, it does kind of suck because likely some of your best technical skills will be in those pieces that you really love and that you worked hard on because you love character. I know it sucks, but it's also a good time if you want to get into making original characters or if you want to flesh out ones that you have. Portfolio is a super cool way to do that and to show schools that you have projects that you're working on. And they have ideas, which are good. It's good to have ideas. These notes are kind of out of order. It's just how I thought of them. Number two, I've applied to Mecca in Portland, Maine, RISD, Rhode Island, MassArt in Boston, PCAD in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and UHeart in Connecticut. I've gotten into PCAD and UHeart so far. I haven't heard from the other schools yet. I will let you know when or if I do. So just keep in mind that this portfolio has been accepted in 2 schools, not all the schools. It's not been accepted to all of them. This isn't one of those videos that's like, this is what you need to do, this is an accepted portfolio, this is what the pros do or something. This is just showing what I did because I know it's confusing and it could be helpful to have a starting point and an idea of what to put in there. 4. Balance is key. If a school asks for sketches and finished art, do them both because it's helpful for them to see your process sometimes. I know RISD wants to see your process. MassArt very much less so. MassArt asks for more finished pieces than sketchy pieces. I think they actually limit you on sketchy stuff in process work, but RISD wants to see that development. I don't think Mecca, PCAD, or UHeart have any more like any specific guidelines like that. But yeah. Number 5, avoid putting in pieces that you're unhappy with because I applied to PCAD with a portfolio that I hate looking at and I feel bad about. It was my first one, and I developed them as I kept applying to schools because I did it over the course of months, which I advise start early so you can do it over a long period. But yeah, like you should want to put in pieces that you really love because it'll make you happier and it'll make you feel better about what you're putting out there. It can make you feel more confident, and reviewers can sometimes tell like if an artist is not very confident about their work. Usually during reviews, if you do reviews, which I advise, if you do reviews, they'll ask you to speak about individual works, and they want to hear confidence, they want to hear all your ideas and your thought process. It's important, so just keep that in mind. Number 6, check the individual school's guidelines. That's very important. Go on their websites, click on the portfolio tab, review it, take notes if you want, talk to your admissions counselor if you can, set portfolio reviews. Like, it's any resources that they can give you are helpful and you should definitely take them up on them. And every school is different with the amount of pieces that you're allowed and all that. So I also advise creating map outs for each school. I used GoodNotes to do it. That's what I'm doing this on. It's just a good tool to lay out how you want to order your portfolio. You can take notes in it. It's very helpful. You can also export PDFs, which is cool. You can do it in anything. I just like GoodNotes. It works with my iPad. Yeah, I made one for each school I applied to, and it was very helpful. Also, if you want to do those portfolio reviews with the admissions counselor, make a new one for that. You can do all that. It's cool. Number 7. I think I heard it in a YouTube video by Biana Bova, who went to Mass Art, and she's super cool. I like her a lot. Um, so the tip is to put your strongest pieces in the beginning and at the very end, and then fill the middle with your studies, your sketches, and kind of like the bulky work. Um, because the goal is to make an impression and make your portfolio memorable for the reviewer who's going over dozens and dozens and dozens of portfolios. You want to make sure they remember you when they're thinking about who to let in, which is cool and good. So they're going to remember you more if you show some really cool pieces at the end, and if they look back and they see really cool pieces at the beginning, if you make a huge impression right off the bat, that'll be good. Okay, I think I'm good with the notes now. So let's get into my actual portfolio. Oh yeah. And I organize this, let's see, by like kind of style, I guess. So like here are all the portraits, then sketches, then studies. So I'll do it that way. So this piece I call the Dream, or Patroclus' Dream most of the time. Inspired by the Iliad. I really love the idea of certain nymphs and deities turning to stone when their grief is too much to handle, or turning into trees, like Daphne. So I kind of originally I was just gonna draw the two, but then I wanted to kind of add a background because it looked bland, and then I decided that I wanted to kind of do the nymph idea, and I put moss and kind of roots growing over them as if they're kind of like in stasis, like they're just remaining in this moment, instead of going through all that bad shit. Um, this is like the biggest piece in my portfolio, I guess. I think I can say that. Oh, by the way, I don't advise organizing your portfolio the way that I did. This is just for the sake of going through and showing you things. Like, I wouldn't put studies at the end like that. Just a note. Um, oh my god, I'm all over the place. Anyway, this is the biggest piece. It took me around 8 hours in Procreate to do over like a month. I'm getting all self-conscious talking about it, honestly. This is a funky sketch. It's got some cool chromatic effects, pop of color. This is one that I made prints of, and this one, because I really like these two. And they were like a sort of series that I wanted. It was really spontaneous. I was like on a road trip, and I was just sketching because I was tired, or it was like 4 in the morning, and I just finished Devilman Crybaby, and I did this. And then I was really happy with how this came out, and I did this, and I was happy with how this came out. So it's cool. Am I swallowing too loud? This is a watercolor. I have a few of them in here. This is of an original character. Oh, let me go back and talk about this for a second. I've been allowed to do mythological characters a lot because it's not considered fan art. Because these have obviously been around for shitload of time, so it's fine. What I mean is don't draw your favorite anime character and put it in your portfolio. I feel like I wasn't specific enough about that, which I wish you could, because I got a lot of those. But anyway. Yeah, so this is a character from the King's story. If you've been around long enough to remember that, I haven't really done anything with it in a long time. But yeah, I don't really do much with her, but I love her anyway. This is Poppy. She's from a story that I've been doing more recently. It's the Osborne thing, which also factors in with the nymph stuff that I do. So it's a watercolor that I touched up digitally, and I do that with almost all of my watercolors. With this one, not with this one. And I've actually been told that it's good to mix media in this way, and that's sort of an interesting thing to do. So definitely consider doing that if you have the means. And like I take really bad scans of watercolors. They look awful when I do it, so I always touch it up anyway. Um, And I was worried that people would think that was cheating or something, but really it's just taking advantage of the software and the art supplies that you have and making something neat with it. So do that if you want. This is Melanie. She's from that same story, and she is Poppy's love interest / the other way around. I like them because they sort of balance each other out. And she is one of the two protagonists in the story. This is one of my favorite pieces from the year. I don't love looking at it now, but like, I don't love looking at it if I just look at the face or if I just look at certain parts. But like as a whole, I like the composition and I love the colors, so it's one that I'm really happy with. This was for the RISD Fix It project because they have you do an assignment outside of the portfolio with a prompt. I'm not sure if that stays the same, so when you apply, look into it because there's a separate Dropbox for it. But I decided to choose two characters from the Western, is it Western? Yeah, Western canon, and sort of mess with them and make them, what am I looking for words? Oh, like warriors, fighters. So this is Briseis from the Iliad, and she did not get enough credit. It's very sad. She had a really beautiful eulogy, and that was her only real like lines. So I gave her a scythe because scythes are fun, and armor and stuff. And now she's gonna fight and do stuff. And this is a character who did not have a name. She's from The Last of the Wine by Mary Renault. Uh, it's a book from the 50s. I just decided that she was way too kind and deserved way more, and especially deserved a name. So I named her Altaia. Um, and I gave her a shield and Zeus's eagle. And she is also a fighter, and they fight together, and I think that's fun. So yeah. Whoa, skip. Okay. This is Lyses. He's also from that book. He is so awful. I don't like him. But I like the descriptions of him physically. I like his color palette and all that. I like his hair and his eyes, so I wanted to paint him anyway. Because there's value to that too. So I did that. This is a work that I didn't finish, but I love where I left it because I like the textures. So I haven't done anything to it. Um, and it's not any specific character. I just call it Ash Spear or Ashen Spear sometimes. No, I just call it Ashwood Spear. I don't know. You have to name all the pieces in the portfolio. I just don't remember what I did. This is Circe, who was my favorite ever. I'm sure you can see a theme in my portfolio, and themes are okay to have. They kind of can show a reviewer what you're all about, which is good. So I went with a mythology theme, specifically Greek. Um, so this is Circe, who I adore, and I have two interpretations. This is the other one. I don't remember which I did first, but I feel like it was this one, and then I did this one. Um, I like this one because I was very meticulous in the detail of her face and the colors that I used. And then I left her neck unfinished, which is just like a cool, oh, and her ear. It's just kind of like a cool side by side to see the process of it and of how I do pieces. And yeah. And there's this one, which has a totally different aesthetic and a slight background, which I don't usually do, but I like this one. Um, and not everything about it makes sense. Her body doesn't really make sense, but I feel like it makes its point. It does what it has to do. This is called Ilium. It was inspired by one of the many descriptions of graphic violence that I won't get into in the Iliad, especially when Patroclus is fighting. Originally, I had notes written on it of that, like quotes from that scene, but I took those away because it was very not good. So yeah, this was just, it wasn't done with reference, which I'm sure you can tell because it's all over the place, but I do like the helmet. It's fun. I don't know. This is a main character in that witch thing, Osborne, with Melanie and Poppy. His name is Maddox. He is Melanie's brother, and they're witches, and it's fun. This is sort of like the corruption arc that is so stereotypical and absolutely every OC creator does, but it's cool to do them because they're fun. And I'm going to do one for every character. I've done one for him and Poppy. This piece, reviewer said that this arm was very cool. He also said that this didn't make any sense, which I agree with, and I don't know why I did it. It's cool to show finished pieces like this with really intense lighting that are bold, to kind of make a statement. So it's fun. This is the same character, different light. This is a piece I call Hyacinthia. It's Maddox wearing a hyacinth crown, or hyacinth wreath, more like. I don't love it. Ugh, cut that. There are certain parts of it that I'm not incredibly happy with, but all in all, I am happy. I like it. I like the kind of mystery surrounding it and the drama and the lighting, and it was fun to work on, and I remember working on it very well. So, yeah. Same character again. I think this is the last one of him in here. This is just a standard portrait, basically just for me to have a reference of what my character looks like. I did one for him. This is Apollon, and this is Mermoth. I did them all in like the span of 3 days, just so that when I'm drawing them, I can have a reference right there of exactly their facial proportions and all the colors and everything. And I also added these leaves. They were a study with a plant that I had in my room at the time, but he has sadly passed on, and I'm very upset about it. But yeah, it's cool. And this is Apollon. I did a funky blur thing here, which I think looks fun. I like the colors in it and the really bold lighting. I have to do more art with him because I really like him actually, and I haven't really done much with him since this. And here is Mermoth, and this was the first of the portraits that I did. That's why it doesn't have a background, but I have recently added a background to it, just like a pink background, to match his eye. And I always struggle with painting white hair, but this is one of my favorite instances of painting it because I like these colors a lot. It's pretty funky. And next to him, I also have this, which I added into my RISD portfolio only, I think, just to show the development of how I designed him, because obviously he went through a lot of changes. He looks much different, and with all my notes, just to show them the process. So if you want to do something like that, that would be wonderful. This is a sea nymph character I called Dolan, and I used a lot of his design for one of the characters that I'm working on now called Nereides, who is an actual character from mythology that I'm doing a narrative with, and a few others, which is fun. This piece is fun because it was a sketch that I did at work, and then I digitally colored it and touched it up and everything. I added in this color palette, but you can see all the notes that I originally had, which it looks really busy, and I could have done it in a much cleaner way, but it gets the point across, so it's fine. It's a 3 sketch series, and I just collaged a bunch of sketches together for it, with like a similar theme, and it's just kind of fun. Like, it's an easy way to throw a bunch of sketches together and show them. I did the same with this, except these are all traditional sketches that I collaged. So this is a good way to show a lot of work together because you are limited in how many pieces you can include. So if you want to do like a bulk sketch thing, this is a fun way to do that. Pro tip: you are allowed to show nudity in a portfolio. I did not get the memo. I thought that you weren't allowed to, and I kind of got made fun of by a reviewer. She did not understand my line of thinking in that, and now I don't either. So they're also looking for those kind of studies to show that you're really actively trying to understand how the body works. So do that if you're comfortable with it, obviously. This is a study of some tulips outside my house. I did this in the summer. I did a watercolor painting, scanned it, then I scanned in this palette that I used while I was painting it to check my colors. This one's my favorite also, just because you can see the inside of the flower. It's fun. I don't like this tree. It's bad. Okay, palette. So I just superimposed it digitally after with Procreate. Um, I do a lot of funky stuff with watercolors in Procreate. You can do it in any digital software that you want to use. But it's kind of fun to do stuff like that. This is a study of the pothos on my desk. It's actually up on a shelf right now. It's like one of my favorite plants. And I knew that RISD wanted some studies, so I just did it very quickly. And like, this wasn't a terribly interesting study. I should have done something more interesting and captivating, because even your studies have to be interesting for you to make a really good impression. So keep that in mind too. These are some Nerite snail studies that I did with watercolor and I scanned. And as you can see, this one was touched up digitally. This one too. Oh yeah, all of them. Just like some really minor highlights. I think that's it actually. Thank you for having interest in this and checking it out and everything. That means a lot. I really, really hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please ask, because I am brimming with knowledge that I might never have to use again. So it'd be cool if people could benefit from that, because I know how confusing this process can be. But once you get the hang of it, it's no big deal at all. I wish you tons and tons of luck in applying and getting into the school of your dreams. And yeah, so stay safe and healthy, and bye.